Welcome to TDD.Academy. I'm Lancer Kind, and over here is David Kuntz, solopreneur and Star Wars fan with a cocktail. So David, last few shows you've been showing up with a cocktail. That Vader mask must be getting a little hot by now, isn't it? You keep calling in. Why don't you just talk over the mic? He says he kind of likes the anonymity, if I can say that right. Anonymity. All right. Well, you know, each to his own. I think you need to stop drinking so much. That might be part of the problem. Anyways, last show we were doing some work on our application. And what the application does now is we got the feature in. Let's move it out of the way so I'm not in the middle of it. And it's got the mask there right off the bat. You know, we could still do some UI fix up, like this is a little bit weird. We should get this to show up in the middle. It's a fixed field, and I think this would be better with a numeric keyboard rather than this. But you know, we'll get to that. Maybe, nah. But anyways, yeah. So we can do some fiddling with that, but that's not the interesting part. We will indeed get there. The interesting part is to add that number mask, we had to leverage some asynchronous coding again for the application. So when the application comes up, there's an event called, well, let's see if I even remember. That's why we write these things down. OnStart, main activity kit. We used its OnStart event. And OnStart, almost sounds like OnStar. Here it is. OnStart finds this, when the phone and the app is all ready to function, this event is called, and this will set the hint field on the UI. So a couple interesting things. This is the UI, so we can't really test drive the UI class because it's very difficult to instantiate that. The other problem is, well, we didn't TDD this. Now, could we TDD this? Maybe. Let's see here. Can I instantiate one of these? App compat activity. I have a feeling that's going to be a lot of problems. So anyways, we added functionality. The product owner's happy, or is she? She may not be, because this functionality could stop working at a moment's notice, and we don't have automated tests to help. We don't have these lovely little fast executing. I got to get rid of one of these two. They're both. I have two ways to run tests, and I'm having trouble remembering which one works. Tick, 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 tick. Pretty fast anyhow. Fast running tests. Fingers crossed, and that will check to see if everything's working like that. And wow, we have a failing test. We didn't. Oh, adding dash true for third number. Wow, when did this start happening? We actually have a couple failing tests as well. Oh, this one I added his initial state has mask hint, but this one I am puzzled. This one I did not expect to fail. I wonder what's going on there. Action state sets up a watcher with the mock SSN field that was using the interface, and assert equals true or false. Action, adding dash recorder. I think something's missing here. I'm not seeing the act. Oh, the act's down here. This test has got me a little confused here. Adding dash is true for third number. So what it is, it's supposed to be checking to see if that third dash shows up, but it does. I think if we show this on the phone, that if we're typing it in, I know we're going to lose our mask here. Yeah, looks like that functionality works. But Okay, so we have a little bit of distraction here, folks. I want to go back to that testing problem, but always the most important thing is to maintain your existing functional tests or your existing tests. Because if you're not maintaining them, what's the point of creating them? The point of creating them is to make our lives easier in case there's a bug. In this case, I don't see the bug, so I think there's a problem with our test or our test code. We might have did some changes. We did a lot of refactoring in here, so what's the story here? Well, let's take a look. So we got this mock SSN field. That was the last thing I remember adding. And expected true false. Why is it saying it would expect true false? That doesn't make any sense. It should not expect true false. Nothing's happened yet. It should expect nothing. I can tell what that's supposed to be. So my test is actually wrong. I don't know why. Quite curious how that happened. But you can see when we start up the phone, there should be no dashes added. This might have been when we were trying to make it work inside the, okay, so this, I don't know, it's hard to say. Maybe we added this because we were trying to make it work in the last show. We were trying to put the functionality to set up the initial mask in the edit class, SSN text edit watcher class, and we decided not to do that. So I'm going to update the test because it shouldn't have any dashes added when you start up and there is no third number yet. Here we start adding the three numbers, and here it's expecting nothing until after text change is called. So all of that makes sense. So I don't know. I'd say somehow that test got updated incorrectly. Let's rerun them. Okay, now this should be the one test that we haven't figured out how to implement, right? Because we didn't build it in this. So for now, we're going to ignore this test because we're back on track. Because this is probably the wrong place to write this test. Okay, so now if I run it, it will ignore it. It'll give me a little bit of a signal. Ignore is like use that for things that you want to ignore for a while, but later you want to address. You don't really want to check in code with ignores because you're just passing along some depth to somebody else. But so yeah, don't check this in if it looks like that. Okay, but yeah, it gives us a little bit of signaling to come back and think about, okay, am I ready to delete this or not? Okay, all right, anyways, back to the main point. So here's an idea. The easiest thing that could possibly work, that's what we should think about when we write these tests. So I already wrote the code in here. Might have to back it out. And the question is this: can I instantiate a main activity in a unit test? And I'm going to say probably not, but let's try it out because we don't know, right? If you know, then you know, but I don't know. And if we could, then we can call onStart and we can do something to get this hint here. And see if the hint is being set by, I don't know, maybe a mock object or something. So there's something we can do, I'm confident, design-wise, to make this a unit testable code. But we got to, first step is, can we even instantiate this thing? So let's find out. Let's add a unit test. Actually, let's do it super simple. Let's answer the question, can I instantiate this in a unit test and see what happens? So we're going to go to our favorite unit test. It's not going. This is just temporary. This is now a learning test. Okay, instantiate that baby. All right, let's see if that test runs. Because if the test, we got to make it a test. We haven't annotated it. If this test passes, then maybe we can do the simplest thing we want to do. Let's run it and find out. In fact, it'll be rather embarrassing. This is pretty easy change compared to. I could have done that last weekend, but excuse me. Sometimes I'm tired at the end of the day. All right, what happened here? This is not a good sign. Main, Method get main looper in Android is not mocked. Scold, scold, scold. Now, is this because I'm not using Android Electric or Robo Electric? Something called looper, get main looper. I don't know. Can I? Okay, so that's the first step that makes it look like it's a little bit tricky. Let's turn this item on that I stopped using. If it's going to make me work hard to use it again, I'll probably get rid of it, but oh yeah, let's try this. We used Robo Electric in the past, but then we found a way we didn't need it. Now, maybe I found another way why we need it. Let's find out. Boom. Test ignored. Passed. Wow, there we go. Man, I was hoping to get rid of Robo Electric, but there we go. We found another useful thing we can do with it, which means it's going to keep me stuck on JUnit 4. Dang it. Come on, Robo Electric. Get us JUnit Jupyter compatible. This is silly. Don't make me work with legacy test frameworks. Bad enough when we end up with legacy code in our apps, let alone our tests. All right, well, that's a promising sign. So guess what, kids? We have to move on to the next step. We got to put that in its own class. Okay, where did it go? Got so many tests in here. That's kind of a bad sign when you can't find things. Learn how to use delete. Not that learning test. There's a learn if can instantiate, and we can with Robo Electric. Sweet. Oh, actually, because this is going to go to its own new test class. Let's see if I can refactor this. Refactor. I don't have a class for this, though. Oh, excuse me. We had a long Friday today, kids. All right, we're going to take this out. We can take the Robo Electric out as well. I want to turn on this JUnit Jupyter next time. Though this is a little scary. Maybe I have to switch back to Robo Electric at some point. So anyways. Okay, where's my test going to be? Well, our class is main activity. Our test code goes to a different location. So let's go add, new, Kotlin class file, and we're going to call that baby main activity test. Okay. And I got Kotlin. You have to pay attention to these little K's. If you don't get the K, you might end up with a J, and if you end up with a J, you're using a different language. All right. Do you want to add the following? So it didn't go into the right directory because I need to add it. You want to add the following? I'm going to hit cancel on that. It's not going in the right spot. Somewhere in here, how do I tell it to where? Okay, my tests are here under Java. Sorry, how did I add that by directory? It's important to get it in the test directory, for goodness sakes. Oh, I missed it here. There's the spot. Hit that. Test. Sweet. Well, we're learning that we can write a test for that. That's sweet. All right. Gonna import some useful things. I can't remember all the steps. Let's go back to main activity, this one. Hang on a second, I don't want to lose my copy paste buffer yet. Get that in there. Actually, maybe we'll just let it handle this. Review org JUnit test. We also have to add that Robo Electric. this. Let's get some, that one. Test runner class. Oh, electric. Oh, there's these imports here too. It'll probably fix that for me. Yeah, I won't worry about that. It's weird they had to ask me about JNet for the class path that's already there. Maybe. All this. All right, cranky machine. What's going on? Robo electric test runner. David! Oh, you're over here. What do we do with that? Bad, turn this way, turn away from the mic. David, yeah, get you on the other side of me. Robo electric test runner. Oh, come on. Let's go back to, oh, here we are. There's the key. That's weird. I'm in the test directory and unsolved reference. Oh, it's got to be an import. Yeah, I remember seeing those imports. There we go. Org Robo Electric. Org Robo Electric Robo Electric test runner. It was pretty helpful. Good job, machine. Okay, so now we have another unit test. So we won't keep polluting this one. Let's hit run and see. We're going to take that. We don't need it to be a learning test. We want to actually run it as a test. All right, so there we are. Oh, why has it got a? Because we have to address that. Okay. Okay, back to the ranch. Main activity test. Okay, so we want this to test what? The initial mask cassette. So this is about the on run underbar. So on run's the API I want to test, so I announce that because this is a micro test, and I'm micro testing on run within main activity. Now I'm going to say what I'm going to test. I'm going to say initial hint set, or app starts with hint. Okay. Now we got to figure out. Now we're getting in there, getting some punches in on that code. Main activity. Now let's go over to on start. So it's an override. Call it super. Don't care about that. So now, folks, I need to take some code out because we want to test drive this. All right. How am I going to do this? So we want to take this code all out. We want to test drive that. So in a previous episode, you may have seen me refer to TDD and may have seen me do it. So we're going to do it again. And this is going to be a little hard. I'm not going to lie. Because this is a void function that's called onStart. But we found out we can instantiate the object and we have this function. So now we just got to use our heads. That's what we're always doing with as a developer. We're always using our heads. Got to automate things. We got to automate our social security numbers. That puts the dashes in the right place. Well, we have to automate our our micro tests as well. Okay, so let's figure it out. David, you're so quiet. How do we figure this out? David, you're over here. Here, this camera. David. David, you give that guy a cocktail, he just quiets down. And maybe the mask muffles him too. Though I can hear him breathing in my earpiece. Okay, so a couple ideas. maybe we could call it, and we could use this API to assert that the hint is set. That's an interesting idea. Because this API is powerful, but I'm a little worried that this is not going to work during unit test time because it's probably going to use runtime features, and that unit test runtime is not the same as when the app's up and running. But folks, you always do the simplest thing first to see what it does, because it doesn't make any sense to do something complicated if you'll look foolish later if you realize, oh, I could have done it the simple way. And I even thought of the simple way and I didn't do it because I was too dumb to try. We're going to try it. All right, so I'm going to copy paste this in there in our unit test. Okay, this is our arrange act. Why am I not getting on start? There must be something's wrong. On start, oh, a capital S, yeah. Function, and it's of type main. So when I make a val without mentioning the API, does it like not know the interfaces? That might be true. It might not know about the interfaces. Really? Oh, pretty surprised. Huh, might have to do some casting here. Okay, why do we have that interface? Because it's of this type. There's no other interfaces around. All right. Folks, I haven't written a lot of Kotlin, so I'm going to try this case. So I have to like maybe do this. Say, hey, I'm going to use this type. Give me a non-start. Whoa, what's going on, kids? Is it because it's not public or something? On create, I'm not seeing, am I seeing on create? So this is an override function. I didn't accidentally disable this, did I? Oh, I may have. No? So it's okay. All right, on support, blah, blah, blah. Do I see any of these? Let's see if I have an on create in there. Whoa, phone call that I can't take now because I'm on a show. I'm here for you, folks. Oh, wow, I'm distracted. Okay, so I'm in my unit test? I'm not. Use app context. Yeah, I'm in the right one. No. What unit test am I looking at? Hit this little target button. Example instrumented test. Well, we don't care about that. Could probably get rid of that. Oh, that's an Android thing. Yeah, in case we want to start adding some fancy, slow system tests. We don't want to do that. Okay. All right, there it is. On start. On create. It's got on create. Why am I not seeing on start? Ugh, you're killing me. All right, I'm going to do this. What? There we are. It's protected in app compact activity. It's protected void. Can I now? So we have the design is saying like, look, folks, you can't call my on start. You're not allowed to do that. It's like, come on, man, loosen up. Oh, these strongly typed languages, they get maddening sometimes. It's like if they go through bureaucracy just to get stuff done. Main activity. We got to fix this. So how are we going to fix it? It's not marked protected, but it must be in the interface. If it's called protected, it's going to like, I don't need to say it again in the override. So Kotlin's a weird language. What does this mean? overrides function in app compat activity. Well, this is not cool. So I need access to that bloody thing. Oh, excuse me. Man, I wish the Android people were like more into unit testing, because this is extra work I shouldn't have to do just to make your phones more cool. Hard to make your phones cool if they're buggy and I can't automate my tests. So that's probably what this hint is when it's like this funny gray color. It's saying it's protected. And protected, if I'm in the same package, compat text edit, oh, there's our fix. We just got to put ourselves in the right package. I've been too sloppy. Okay, that's a good point. Com example, well, I'm in the same package. Com example, text edit, basic activity. So the main activity class, maybe, what package is that from? Com example. That's my test class. I mean this. Android X, app compat app. And then main activity. That's my class. So if my class overrides something that was declared or defined in another class that's from a different package, then protected means you can only classes within your names in your same namespace can use you. It's protected from people, those icky people outside your namespace. So I'm got a problem. And I can't even explain why Android marked it protected. Thanks, guys. I could do a trick, maybe, is I could do this, but this is, okay. Function. It doesn't need to be public. It can't be protected. Yeah, it should be all right. So if I write function like function my start, that will call on start. On start, can at least come up with a good name. Will it like, is that a, can I do that? Seems like I have no idea. All right, let's go to my test. Oh, I can't remember what I call it. It's test access. Not going to be able to find it, is it? Let's do a save, maybe. What are you talking about? Seriously? Don't do that again. I don't understand. Oh, I see a, wow. Very strange. Must be something with Kotlin I don't understand here. Let's do a build and see what it tells me. Okay. Build. Hello? Where's my build errors? Oh, problems. Okay. All right, well, now here, I shot myself in the foot because I'm still inheriting from that other interface. I need the custom interface from main activity now to get to this. Oh, and that might have been actually the problem with the other guy too. All right. All right, we got some things to try here. Okay, so now that I can do that, let's try something else. On start. Nope, can't get that. Seriously? You pull that off? Oh, that's just funny. It's like, why did they design it to be protected? So I have to go through this trouble of creating a middleman so I can call it in a test. Who knows, folks? Sometimes, okay, so if you're working with a company who's producing products that aren't made with automated tests, they will have a culture, frequently have a culture of not making things testable. This is really smelly that I have to like add a extra delegate just to get test access to something. Well, let's just keep going here. We have an act. We can call it. Now, oh, that's right. We need to test something. We need to find out if I can build, if I can do this from a unit test in unit test time, not in Android functioning at full app time, but in unit. So when I say unit test time, it's a way of saying, we usually developers talk about runtime and compile time. Things working at compile time because the compiler's happy, but at runtime you get a different story sometimes. So the runtime in this case, we have a couple of runtimes to deal with. We have our unit tests are executing in a JVM just for unit testing. That's a different environment. That's a different runtime. So I call it test time, or unit test time. When it runs in the phone, in the simulator, it's now running in an Android device, well, or a simulated one. And that's our production, that's our real runtime. So when I'm trying to be specific here, say like it might run in a unit, it may not run in a unit test because it's a different situation, different environment. In the unit test, it's got like RoboElectric's making up some fakes so that we can get the application up running. But let's find out. Let's stop yakking. Run this test. So I didn't write an assert. I didn't paste the code in. Dang it. All right, let's do this. So if I can successfully, oh, look at this. I got an error. No pointer exception on start. Oh, that's interesting. Activity is null? No, it's during on start. So if I go into on start, okay, main activity on starts here. It's calling the super on start, and when it does super on start, it's got a problem. So what we're running into here, folks, is this test environment isn't making things happy enough, and so it hit a null pointer exception. Create breakpoint? Oh, that's a weird. Oh, if I click on it, does it create a breakpoint? I don't want to do that. Forget that. No. We don't need no stinking debugger. We don't need no stinking debugger. Usually, that's true. All right, so app activity on start, and then it causes a null pointer exception. And I'm so not interested in dealing with super on start because I'm just trying to test the code. So we might have to do a little bit of a workaround, folks. Let's try it. Here's the workaround. Okay, we know the code that's commented out works, right? And so we're going to still reverse TDD that. But it's as designed, it's not testable. So I'm going to move that code in here. And this function is going to be renamed something like butterfly F6, I think. Change signature. We're going to change the name of this baby. Why does it say return type unit? That's weird. I don't know. Return type should be nothing. Okay, so what is this thing doing? This thing is going to set up the initial mask. So set up, what's another way of phrasing this? Yeah, I feel like set up initial mask is always good. Or set initial mask. That kind of implies a bunch of Java bean stuff though. So shouldn't use those words. Could create initial mask. That might be better. How about create? I don't think there's too wrong with setup. Create initial mask. Just create mask. Okay? Because if you call this outside of Startup and you call it at a different life cycle of the application, it'll create the mask. That's what it does. And now down here, create mask, right? So now it's going to call up there and it can create the mask. Now we're looking at unit testing this. So now we're applying a strategy called if I can't beat them, which means if I can't call the function under test, let's bifurcate it. Let's make the code rearrange so that I can access the code I need to test. And that solves two problems. That makes this a more useful thing than saying like, hey, this is just a middleman to call the other thing. No, now it's doing something useful. It's creating the mask. Okay, let's see. What's it complain about? Expression body. I don't know what that means. Let's try it. Ah, interesting. No, we don't want to do that. Okay. All right, let's go back to our unit test. All right, so call create mask, and then I'm going to check and see if it found, now we don't know if this will work, so let's find out why it's red. Okay, so we need a reference to that. Find my ID. Where is that coming from? Find my ID must be, maybe it's part of this class. Yeah. Oh, there we go. All right, so it's part of this class. I might have to have this class tell me about itself. Do you have a mask? Okay. Yeah, I'm thinking of a couple ways we can handle this. Yeah, just tell us about your mask. All right, let's go over here. Oops. All right, I got a new idea here. We're going to rearrange it again. Taking a dive, try another punch to see if it lands on this code. Okay, so that's fine. That's fine. I don't want to do that now, right? Because it's part of the other class. Well, let me try something. Can I do activity? Find. Whoa, well that changes things. I can just call activity find by blah, blah, blah. Ooh, let's bring that code back then. Dipping and diving and weaving. This code's making this work out a little bit. Getting a little sweaty up here. Field dot. Oops, I don't mean to say that. What do I want to try to do? Oh, I want to call this code. All right, we're going to keep this commented out because I think some of that stuff might be useful. Okay, that's going to bring me back a value. Okay, and then we're going to do assert. Whoa, how come this is giving me some grief? Oh, yeah, because we had to do this. We have to tell it what interface we're going to work with. Colon. My widgets dot, like that. And then we can go assert equals, what's the mask? XX, X, 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 and then SSN field dot hint. Tell me your hint. Okay, there we are. So we would like that test to pass. String, might have to do a toString on that. I don't know. It's not. Let's try it. Okay. So just to be clear, the code's still commented out, and I futzed around with it. I'll probably end up putting it back down there since I don't need this middle piece here. On the other hand, actually, there's some value to this one, but I might make it private because it's just its responsibility just to create the mask. Boom, create the mask. Okay. So actually, I'm going to leave it in a separate piece like that and call it private. Okay. All right, but the code's still commented out, so let's see if our reverse TDD environment set up. Boom. Let's go unit tests. Doom, 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 doom. What's going on? Test events not. Why is that? And something didn't compile is usually what that means. Is there a red thing there? Nope. Do I have a problem? Nope. Let's try this again. Run all tests. Okay. Let's do execute unit tests. Oh. It's not supposed to call that anymore. Oh, my problem is I still can't call the dang function that I'm testing. Oh, you're killing me. It's annoying. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I don't want to be in this test. Let's close some of these things. Main activity, bro. All right, so we're still calling that guy. And if that test passes, come on, baby. Let's get those unit tests going. Notice I keep getting, oh, I could probably upgrade that Gradle plugin. Let's do it live on the show here. All right, assert is deprecated. What am I doing wrong, man? I'm getting a lot of runaround here. All right, JUnit framework. All right. Main activity. We got something mixed up here. Let's go back and look at this code. All right, I'm using test and org JUnit assert. Somehow we got ourselves using the wrong asserts. Not JUnit framework. Okay. Yeah, let's optimize imports, whatever that's about. You optimize it and made it go away. Multiple choices, it says. Import. The org JUnit one. Oh, I picked the wrong one when it was asking me that. Okay, there we are. Okay. Build failed. Yeah, this is. I'm going to get rid of this one. Execute unit tests. We need to get rid of you because you're confusing me. But run all tests we want. I think that's because it's in my Gradle build. It's interesting. Why is that red? I got an extra one of those. Delete you. Okay, this test failed. No pointer exception again. Let's find out why. Okay, so it won't let me use that during test time. I can't use find view by ID. Cannot do that. All right, so we followed our principle of trying to do the simplest thing that works, which is, just operate like the production code does, and we can't because the environments are too different. Okay, so let's find something that does work because we gotta get our tests in. Where is my... All right, I gotta close some of these tests. Like this one, we don't need you anymore. I'm convinced we're gonna do it in the other area. Okay. And all right, this test is failing because we got an exception. So create mask. There's some tricks we can do here. There's some options we have. Main activity. Oops, this is not supposed to be in there. Well, one thing we could do is we could just return what we put in our SSN hint field. Oh, wow. Yeah, but if this code gets run at any time in our unit test, we're going to have a problem. Because we know that find by ID is going to throw an exception. So that means I got to mock it. And mocking it means overriding this guy. So the question is, can I override find view by ID and programmatically handle what I need to handle to give it an SSN field? And an SSN field is a view object, and that view object is going to go turn around and call a hint on it. And I cannot instantiate view objects on my class. So there's a bunch of nasty code here that I can't put into I can't execute during the unit test. The only code, like all of it, those two lines are not executable in a unit test. So we need another trick. Well, notice we have what's called a magic string. All right, so that magic string should be equal to that. Where's that magic string? Where should it come from? I'm going to form an opinion on that. I'm going to say that that's related to my social security number field or my text. I don't want to put it in field. just to be perfectly frank, because it's not testable in there. But I could put it in my text view, my SSN, here it is, text watcher. I could put it in there. It's not that really. Let's close some of these things. This field interface, is that going to be helpful? I could put on my interface a I could use that interface. I'm just thinking about, we can do this, folks. I just got to, there's a bunch of options that are jumbling through my head. Option 1, we put the string and we stick it on main text activity. All right, but why would main text activity have any knowledge about setting up a initial hint, right? The only reason why I'm in here is because on start needs to be set up by on start, but this create mask, we could put that call onto SSN field. Seems like a good move. And we go SSN field hint equals, why don't we preset that hint? Because the moment I set the hint, it needs to happen at, the hint can't be set up earlier. It needs to be set up at this moment in time in this, when this event fires, because if we try to set it up before that, that's when the class has problems because it's not fully set up. All right? That's what I recall from the last show. So we need to put a function. We could put a function in SSN field that sets the hint. That would work. And that function could be set up in the interface as well. The question now in my head is, like, create social security number mask. Call it that. And I'm trying to think too many steps ahead. I'm probably getting a little bit lost. So let's just do something and see if it works. That'll help. I'm not convinced I want to put it in here though. The question really is, do I want to put it in here, which is hard to, also has the same testability problems, or do I want to put it in, but if I put it in here and I use it in this interface class, then I have like a, does that even make sense? Oh, I'm not convinced it does. So, wow. We got to get this problem solved. I got to get on with my Friday. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. Text watcher, test. Okay, what about this guy? Now this guy's got all kinds of, is it responsible of me to put that functionality in here? Because that's totally unit testable if I put it in there, right? I love that. Awesome. And I still can't do that because it's got to call a, no, it could do that, can it? Yeah. It's complicated. All right, we need a home for this baby. And we know, okay, our constraints are this. We know that main activity has that function. SSN field doesn't need that because it already knows who it is. And so, but main activity has to be the starter of it. Okay, so main activity is going to call that. No matter what, main activity has got to be the driver. And, but what I can't do is execute this code here. Okay. Is it just that line of code? Like, if I make that line work at unit test time, am I good? Can I execute that line? And then, And then what? Hint equals. That's what I'm testing. Trying to see if that gets set. And that little rascal is causing me some problems, but I can get this, I can get back an SSN field, and then we just got to call hint on it, and then I need to test that hint is called with that mask set up. And I'm going to do that in a unit test by, I could put a getter on this code as well, or I could use a mock object to check that it's set up right. All right. All right, let's think about that. So for SSN, this class here, that function is mocked. No, it's not good enough. I need this. Yeah. If it's mocked and then it returns my mock instance of a field, then I can have a spy that tells me the hint was set. That would work pretty good. I think with the strategy we're looking at is we're going to put a mock object in here. We're gonna have to override that functionality at test time, so we can get a mock object in there. Whew. And that mock object's gonna spy and see what the hint said. Okay, that'll work. All right, so let's go back to the code. Let's make that happen. Activity, create mask, boom, done. But before we do that, we gotta try to mock something. Dot. It's called by ID. Find by ID. Okay. Now the question is, oh wow, it takes a template. Find by ID. So can I override that when I'm on the outside of this class? That would be pretty cool. Let's try it. Let's do some Kotlin magic here. It's going to say you can't do that probably. Let's take a quick look at this. Kotlin assign to function. Okay, so they have a function and they put equals to yada yada yada. Oh, there's a way to override. Oh, this example we never did. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm trying to do some wild functional programming type thing, and I don't think that's going to let me do that. I'm going to have to create my own instance of main activity. Okay, let's do that. All right, main activity. We're going to make a new instance of you. All right, let's probably do it the stupid way first to see if this works. Okay, so now we're going to have a class down here. Mock main activity. Probably ought to call it main activity mock so we can understand what all these things are doing. It's going to inherit from main activity. And what I want you to do, main activity, Oh, it's final. Ah! Oh, you guys and your Javaism making my life hard. Public final class. See this, folks? This makes it so we can't override that class. Oops. All right, can I make a function? So it's about find by ID. And I want to override find by ID. Can I try that? But I can't because it's final. Ah, that's true. Okay, well, we're going to do it the other way. There's another way, Lance? Oh, yeah, there's lots of ways. Folks, how it works is like you think about the least simplest way, you try it, if it doesn't work. And the next, and the next, and the next. We're stretching out to having to add a little more design to make things more flexible. Okay, so now I need to have a design that's going to allow a function that sets find by ID. So I need to use a function pointer. And that's going to be, I might have to look up some Kotlin syntax. So he goes function, corow, blah, 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 dot, da, 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 da. I can assign. Okay. All right, well, we're going to learn something about Kotlin today, which is cool, and functional programming. Bet you didn't know that was going to happen, huh? What we want to do is we want to make this a variable, and that variable allows me at unit test time to set it so I can put a spy in there, and that spy is going to return my SSN field, and that SSN field is going to be handle the spy on that hint, the hint. Of course, that also means that we need to be able to create an SSN field and inherit from it. So let me double check that before we get too far down that road. So we found out that we can't inherit from that, but can I do an SSN field?